What's good, guys? Welcome to another episode of No Capes Required. Doug's back, I'm back, and we've got a great show for you today, so let's just dive on in.
Get right into it.
So we now have the first official Rotten Tomatoes score for Shazam. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous about what this would be. Just because, it's a DCU movie, even though I said, I predict that, still am, that'll be the second best DCU movie ever. Now, how did the Rotten Tomatoes scores compare? So, Shazam is at a 93%.
Holy moly, what?
Rotten Tomatoes score, yes, in the 90s.
Shazam? In the 90s.
Shazam, yeah.
Must be playing.
No, yeah, 93%. So obviously, probably your reaction, I think that you're a little bit surprised.
I'm very surprised, Scott. I did not think this was going to be this successful on Rotten Tomatoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All in all, I don't really think this changes my opinion of it, though.
Okay.
I still, the bar for me right now for DC, I feel like I have to lower it.
Okay.
And Shazam, I'm seeing a lot of great reviews, people just talking about it. Like, expectations.
They're all positive.
And they're all positive.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm just like, I still look at DC's track record. They don't have a good track record for movies.
Yeah,
I will say, and how we discussed before the show, how Shazam was kind of going in a different direction than the old movies.
Oh, definitely.
With it being like a little bit lighthearted. But to me, I'm not feeling it yet.
You're not feeling it?
I'm not feeling this, guy. How do you feel? Does this change?
No, yeah. I mean, look, so I'm from a different tone, so it doesn't really necessarily change my opinions, but it does, I will say, it does make me more hopeful. Mm-hmm. Because, there have been movies that I was skeptical about. Like, let me bring up the biggest example of a movie that I was skeptical about, and then Rotten Tomatoes made me hopeful. DC's best movie so far, Wonder Woman. I was skeptical about the movie going in. I'm like, I don't know, the trailers aren't doing too much for me. They just came off of Batman vs. Superman. Like, I'm very scared. Or Suicide Squad. I'm very skeptical of, what Wonder Woman is going to be. Mm-hmm. And man, it blew my mind away. I was so surprised, pleasantly surprised. And Shazam, now it's sort of the same thing. I guess not technically, because I did predict on this show that Shazam will be DCU's second best movie. So far, at least from the Rotten Tomatoes score, that seems to be like, a possibility. But I will say, I'm not saying, now Rotten Tomatoes is not going to change my opinion of the movie. I'm going to go in, thinking whatever I think. Mm-hmm. But I will say it just makes me hopeful.
Do you feel like Shazam could do better than Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman, even though I know we keep saying that, the DC bar is low, Wonder Woman is, if you forget, comparing it to DC movies, it's just a great movie all around, just by itself. Like, it was a great movie. And, it is kind of the shining, pillar of the DCU right now. So I will keep it right now at second, just because, it's hard to know what to expect from Shazam. It definitely looks like what we can expect is it's going to be a lighthearted tone, I think, and it's going to be, as you would say, sort of in that Spider-Man Homecoming sort of vibe. And
except with the Superman.
Zachary Levi described this movie as Big Meat Superman. Mm-hmm. And so, because he is very much a kid, and, that movie that, definitely has the big sort of philosophy in Shazam. So I just think that this is going to be a very fun movie. It's going to be entertaining, and I think, I was talking with my brother. I think one of the things that it has going for it is that it doesn't seem like they're taking this movie too seriously.
No,
and I feel like that's sort of been one of DC's flaws. They've kind of taken some of their movies a little bit too seriously, and it hasn't worked out for them. So the fact that this movie is sort of playing around, it's got some jokes, it has, that very kid kind of vibe, I think that is going to do well for it.
Yeah, they definitely need to change the pace from their old style. Mm-hmm. The dark style was not, the dark tone style wasn't really working for them as well as we thought it would, especially coming from like Christopher Nolan's Batman and all that. So, I mean, I'm all for changing the pace. Right now, DC just needs to keep pushing. They need to keep moving forward. They can't really look back, can't dwell on it because they're already in it. You know what I'm saying?
No, and I do applaud DC for making some changes. Like, they are now trying to, they're really changing their entire ship. You know, after Justice League, they're really trying to change things around because you see, obviously with Shazam, it's a different tone, and now they're having 3 female movies in development because of the success of Wonder Woman. So they're definitely trying, they're giving a lot of effort into changing this kind of dark, dull narrative, you know, that they have right now. So I applaud them for that.
And just a little like side, just a little side conversation. What do you think was really the problem with Justice League? Do you think it was the actors, the writing, or maybe it was just like the executive kind of, like, you know, the way they kind of forced it onto the people? What do you think it was?
Yeah, I think a little bit of everything, but it was, I think the biggest problem with Justice League was they didn't have any background stories for the 3 characters, and I mean, also, not to mention a very forgettable villain like Steppenwolf is just one. Exactly.
Who was the villain?
Yeah, Steppenwolf. Nobody's, and I'm probably gonna forget in a couple years who the villain of Justice League was. I mean, that's how forgettable he was.
Right.
But I think one of the main problems is, so comparing Justice League to Avengers, and I know, you know, we have to kind of compare them. The Avengers, you got to know each of those characters, you know, from their solo movies.
Very personal.
Yeah. You got like backgrounds on each of them, and so going into Avengers, you had a connection to all those characters.
Yeah.
With Justice League, you kind of had a connection to Batman. You have a connection to Wonder Woman, but with Aquaman, with, you know, Flash and Cyborg, they're just kind of getting introduced. And you can introduce these characters, but the way they introduce them, they didn't do it correctly. So you have to do it in a way where, sort of in Civil War, how they did with Black Panther and Spider-Man. It's kind of difficult because those characters in Justice League are going to, it's a team-up movie, and the fact that we don't know enough about those 3 characters, it was just a problem for it. And I think, you know, Justice League was sort of the culmination of DC's way of trying to catch up to Marvel too much.
Yeah, they were rushing a little bit. Introducing 6 characters, especially when you only really know 3.
Yeah.
And I'll give you even 4. But introducing those characters all in one movie, that's extremely hard to do. And we saw that played out.
No, definitely. But hey, I'm hopeful. Shazam is 93%. I hope it's as good as everybody's saying. Nobody's saying any bad things about this movie, so I'm hoping that Zachary Levi and company kill it.
Yeah, I'm gonna see it. But my bar is here.
So Marvel has posted new Avengers Endgame character posters, and they've confirmed some survivors, 4 survivors to be in total, and 1 unfortunate casualty that we didn't know of before. So, and this is where I'm gonna say for the spoiler alert for anybody that doesn't want to know, that just wants to go into the movie blind, not knowing anything. So you got 3 seconds to just fast forward ahead of this segment and go to the next segment, okay? So 3, 2, 1, okay, you've been warned. So, the 4 characters that were sort of in the bright side, because, you know, they're characters who are in bright and then who are still alive, and the characters who are kind of shadowed out are the ones that are dead. And the 4, along with the other surviving members, the 4 members I'm talking about are Pepper Potts, Happy, Wong, and Valkyrie. So those 4 are confirmed survivors of the snap. They did not die.
I feel like Happy didn't need a poster.
Well, look, he contributes. He tries his best.
Happy go slap Thanos?
I mean, no, he's not going to do anything in terms of the fight. He's not going to help in the fight. I mean, I don't think Pepper's really going to help fight. But I mean,
she's
it's
Tony's
just cool.
Emotional support.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so, but it's cool, I guess. You know, it's cool that those guys are alive. And I would say the biggest surprise, I think, for me, and I would say for most fans, is Valkyrie. Just because Valkyrie was not in Infinity War. We didn't really know what happened to her because, you know, for Thor Ragnarok, we see that she was on the ship where, like, you know, the battle went down with, you know, Loki, and, you know, Loki died, and, you know, Hulk got beat up.
Quote unquote.
Thor, yeah, I mean, so, yeah, of course, we don't know what Loki. But, No, I mean, so we didn't see her at all in Infinity War. So I was just thinking that she wasn't going to be in Endgame either. Right. She was just not going to be a part of that movie series. But the fact that she is alive, I'm interested to see what her role is. And obviously she can fight. And then the other one, Wong, man. Wong, I feel like he has to show up more in Endgame because he really didn't do as much as he really could have, I think, in Infinity War. He fought for a little bit and then he said, I have to go back to protect the temple, but...
Which made no sense. Literally, the stone that your temple protected is somewhere, because Strange got like kidnapped.
Yeah, he got kidnapped.
So what you doing? You the Wong one.
Yeah, no. No, but he just left Hulk. I mean, he said like, nah, I gotta protect the temple. You could have been in Wakanda fighting with everybody. Could have. Yeah, I don't know. He could have helped. So I'm expecting him to make some sort of impact to try to make up for his lack of help, I guess, toward the end of the film. So
I would love to see them kind of center around his powers more, because like we were talking about this before the show, I've only ever really seen him use the energy whip or the shield and stuff like that. Yeah. I think there was momentary times where you told me that he was using like interdimensional powers and stuff like that. But I want to see more of that. They need to utilize the secondary. Are these third characters or these secondary characters?
It depends on terms of their movies. So Wong, I guess, would be a secondary character for the Doctor Strange movies.
So more use out of your secondary characters, I would like to see.
Yeah, no, I mean, and we talked about the 4 survivors. We do have to mention an unfortunate casualty.
It's here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So another spoiler warning, but Shuri apparently was killed off screen because she's one of the character posters that's blacked out. So are you surprised that they didn't just show Shuri's death on screen, considering her popularity? And
I'm not surprised. Mm-hmm. I will say there was a lot going on within that movie.
Oh no, for sure.
So the fact that they killed her off screen, I can understand. Maybe they just couldn't figure out a way to put it in the main movie. But I wanted to really see a little spin, and this is just me talking out of my imagination, not really particularly wanting to like feel like it's a necessary thing. It's more just something like, oh, this would be cool. Shuri at some point in the comic becomes a Black Panther. Mm-hmm. Like, it would be cool if she, to avenge her brother, donned Killmonger's costume or something, and they had her utilized like that. I think that would have been an interesting play.
So recently I spoke with Russell Williams, who's a professor at American University, but that's not all he is. He's also a 2-time Oscar winner for sound and also one of only 4 African Americans to win multiple Oscars. And so I asked him questions about the future of the Oscars and possibly what role superheroes will play in the future Oscars and how prevalent will they be. Here's what he had to say.
I think in terms of the superhero genre at large, I think it is going to show up more often because the Academy has a couple different, probably more than a couple, but 2 major constituencies that they have to serve. Obviously, they're there to serve the members and make sure that we continue to hold the so-called bar of filmmaking to a higher standard. They also have to make sure ABC Network is happy in terms of getting ratings for the show, because the advertising revenue from the show does a lot to keep the Academy of Motion Pictures doors open and the lights on and whatnot. And I'm assuming that the other award shows, the Emmys and the Grammys, do feed into those organizations' coffers as well. One of the reasons Black Panther was historic as the first superhero movie to get Best Picture basically was on the heels of Dark Knight many years ago not getting a Best Picture nomination. And that outcry basically forced the Academy to return to having as many as 10 nominations in Best Picture. And of course, Black Klansman, which also has a racial theme and based on a true story. So with those 3 options, again, I think Black Panther to me would have been winning Best Picture. I think probably would have gotten fewer complaints from anyone had that won, because of what it represented in terms of Ryan Coogler's third feature film as a filmmaker, and look what he put on the screen, and the fact that it galvanized audiences around the world, And I think it would have been a clear signal that, yeah, it could be a superhero movie. It could be basically popcorn crunching entertainment, but it still could be the best picture of the year.
It's that time again, Twitter question of the week. And as always, let's revisit last week's Twitter question of the week, which was, if you could pick one of these young heroes to play for your favorite college basketball team in March Madness, who would you choose? And to remember, so the options were Miles Morales, Nightwing, Danny Phantom, and Bakugo. And the results are in, and with 44% of the vote, the winner is Danny Phantom. Yeah. So he came in first, but in second place was Nightwing. Third place was Miles Morales, and fourth place Bakugo. Any surprises there, Doug?
Yeah, I didn't think Nightwing was going to take second place.
Yeah, no, neither did I.
Nah, I really thought about, because of Miles Morales' athleticism, his agility, and his powers, I thought he would be a good secondary, because Danny was going to win. Like, invisibility, phasing through things, like, he had to win. But I thought Miles, with all his skill set, he would be number 2. So Nightwing taking the second one was definitely a surprise to me.
No, yeah, to me too. Like, and look, no offense to Nightwing. Nightwing's one of my favorite heroes ever.
One of the best. Go.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. But I think, just the problem, like we see addressed in the last show, is the fact that he doesn't have any superpowers.
None.
So I'm wondering what was voters' mindsets in terms of picking him. Did they think that he would have his gadgets on the court, and maybe that would really help him, or did they just really like him more than the other 4? So it was sort of a popularity contest for them. But we don't really know. I mean, but it's interesting that he came in second place.
And it's not a bad thing. Nightwing is probably one of the smartest people on that list.
And as far as being a human, he's very, very athletic and agile.
Athletic. So definitely not a bad choice. Not mad at it. I am a bit surprised though.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let's move on to this week's Twitter question of the week.
I'm ready.
And it's another sports related one, because baseball season has started, and in honor of that, so in honor of opening day and the start of the MLB season, who would you choose to be your closer? We've got 4 options here. The first being Static Shock. Second, Shoto Todoroki. The third, Shigo. And the fourth, Domino. So some cool options there. Who you going with, Doug?
I really like Domino and Static Shock.
Ooh, okay.
I'm a little bit. I put Domino probably over, mostly because of her ability. Like, she has an ability of luck. I'm not sure what the percentage is on that luck, but if it's 100% of the time where she's like she gets the advantage of the luck, I think no one's gonna hit her pitch.
Well, I think the luck is not necessarily 100% of the time, because I mean the thing is she does lose in fights. It's not like she necessarily wins every fight that she goes up, no matter who she goes up against. But I would say more, a lot of the times, there is some luck in play, and that's definitely her power. And obviously, for the 9th inning, you would think that, if it's just one inning, then, that luck's really gonna come through.
It definitely depends on who's hitting too.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, well, not even because. I also think Static would be a good number 1 choice, just because of his electricity powers.
Yeah.
Electricity is very fast.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, he would, electrically charge pitches, and it's interesting. So there are three of those options are going to be throwing with like real heat.
Right.
And one of those options is sort of just winning kind of by luck, even though she's already very skilled in many areas as well. But I don't know. I guess it's really, what do you rather win? Do you try to win by skill or luck? So that's why for me, Domino, even though I would definitely consider her, who I'm going to go with, and this might surprise you a little bit, I'm going to go with Todoroki on this one.
Not bad.
Just because, and obviously it depends on some situations, but from what I've seen from the show, it seems like he's probably ambidextrous, which means that he can throw with either hand. And obviously, if you know his power sets, he's got fire and ice.
Right.
And the thing, obviously Shigo and Static Shock would be good too in terms of their pitches. But why I go with Todoroki is that I think he can change the temperature sort of around him and sort of making it colder, and that would obviously affect the people batting, I feel like.
Yes.
So if he can, like, you know, freeze kind of the area around him, that would sort of give him even more of a home field advantage.
I'll give you that. But how you going to swing a bat if you can't see the ball?
No, yeah.
Static shock, man.
No, look, I don't think, look, I don't think there's any bad options.
No, not at all. This is a good list.
No, definitely. So let us know what you think. Go vote at 0 Capes Required. And, you know, this will conclude the end of the show. So, Doug, as always, thanks for being on, man.
And, you know, thanks for always having me on.
Of course. And, yeah, so be sure to follow at 0 Capes Required for more updates and, you know, content. And also be sure to follow at Fly to the Sky 11. But until then, we're probably, so really quick, we're probably not going to have a show next week just because, you know, I'll be out in LA in La La Land.
Fancy.
But once we return, we'll at least have one review for you, and I think Hellboy's coming out the next weekend as well. So we might have 2 reviews for the next episode. So definitely can't wait for it, and look out for that the week after next. But until then,
Shazam!